knock the CK off your parents. Yeah.
Yo. This is Gilbert, aka 30 is the new 30, aka the Black Jedi Knight, aka ain't no party like a Romphim party, cause a Romphim party don't stop. To my left is my sister. Introduce yourself.
Again, are you saying Rompim or Rompim?
Rompim.
That's worse than Rompim.
It's saying Rompim. It's the Rompims. That's the Rompers. Doesn't it?
So,
if you're listening to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Lindsay, and I am pro Romphim.
All right. So as my sister Lindsay, I am Gilbert. If you're hearing the sound of my voice, you have stumbled upon the second episode of the Educated Black Siblings podcast. Just to give you guys a quick rundown of what we do here. Lindsay and I are siblings. We are educated and we are black. Hence the name of the podcast. What we are seeking to do here is, we're just going to have conversations with each other. And what we're hoping to do is to engage you guys in those conversations. We want you guys yelling back at the speakers when you're listening to this. Tweet at us if we say something that you disagree with, because we really want to engage you guys in this. We want to bring you guys into our conversation. So again, just a quick rundown. What we're going to do today is we're going to start off with a couple serious topics, and we're going to jump into pop culture, and then we have what I think is going to be a pretty interesting top 5 for the people today.
Yes.
Anyway, I just turned 30.
Happy birthday, boo!
So I'm 30 now.
Hey, what is this all about you? Real quick, Gilbert and I are 5 years apart, so he did just turn 30, but I also turned 25. So, a quarter. It don't matter. I'm still 25. Quarter in here. But happy birthday, boo! You're 30. How does 30 feel?
Man, it feels. I won my first basketball game in my 30s.
Against who?
There's a cat over there at the park. Put him on his butt a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
You ain't go to no park.
I really did.
When'd you go to the park?
Legit. On Monday. Crossing them over and everything. Young boys and all.
Young boys and all.
Pause.
That's weird.
Anyway, so I just turned 30. For my 30th birthday, we went to go see what is becoming one of my favorite comedians, Andrew Schultz. He is half of the Brilliant Idiots podcast, which is a podcast that me and my sister both enjoy. You guys should go check that out if you haven't already. But anyway, we went to go see his stand-up show because it was here in Dallas.
Yes.
Lindsay, how'd you feel about it?
I was pleasantly surprised. Like we said, we listened to the Brilliant Idiots podcast.
It's hard to say, isn't it?
It's a mouthful.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa. But it was a lot more enjoyable than I thought it was going to be. Like, Schultz is really, really good. And I like his normal just conversation and banter, but he seemed to have a great flow with the show. Like, we were laughing continuously. Like, there weren't any dead spots. I thoroughly enjoyed it. What about you?
Same here. Like when you think about comedians like Kevin Hart, because Kevin Hart is probably the most popular black comedian right now, maybe the most popular comedian, period.
Yeah.
Kevin Hart doesn't have a consistent laugh throughout he's building you up to a really, really big laugh, and you're always gonna get that big laugh. I didn't have the huge laugh with Andrew.
No.
But what I loved about Andrew is from the moment that he stepped on the stage, I laughed for the entire 45 minutes. Like, there was never a point where I was like, it was never like side splitting laughter, but I laughed the entire time. Like, it was. I've been to a lot of comedy shows. For those of you listening, you guys are probably going to learn this as you get to know me and my sister a little bit more, but we really, really like stand-up. We listen to a lot of stand-up.
Yes, we do.
That stand-up special that we just saw is probably top 10 for me.
Like, absolutely.
It was really good.
Absolutely. I liked how natural he seemed on stage.
Yeah.
And I like that. Like, there were certain times you could tell that it was like that. Okay, this is his written material, but a lot of it was just him.
It was off the cuff.
Off the cuff, messing with the crowd and just going with the flow. And also, okay, I can say this. So he apparently wasn't feeling that well. Like, he had ate a lot of food before our show. So legit, I think one of the reasons it was so funny is that he was legit posted up on the back wall, like leaning in a stool against the wall, just talking. And I loved it. It was great.
So I encourage you guys to go see Andrew Schultz if some of you are listening to this from another city.
Also, dude is mad tall. Like,
he's insanely tall.
We took pictures with him, and legit, I was up to his hip. I was like, why are you so awkwardly tall?
But this is not the Andrew Schultz fan club show.
It's not.
So let's stop talking about Andrew Schultz.
Okay.
I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
This question may be more for the general audience, but I want to get your opinion as well. Speaking of general audience, you guys should follow us at Educated Black Siblings on Instagram.
EBS.
We don't have a theme
on
song.
Instagram.
We don't have...
Come on through, and we'll shake your hand. We're EBS.
We don't have a theme song.
Educated Black Siblings.
You can also find us on YouTube. The YouTube channel is Educated Black Siblings. You can email us at Gmail, educatedblacksibling@gmail.com.
Okay.
And then on Twitter, excuse me.
No, we're twinners.
We are twinners, but on Twitter, it is at the EBS Podcast.
Oh, is it?
It is. I changed it from
it?
Educated Black Sibling. So it is at EBS Podcast on Twitter. So this question is a general question, but is 30 too old to get your first tattoo?
No,
You don't think so?
not at all.
I'm thinking about getting a tattoo.
Where? On your bodies.
Tat on my ribs like I do not care what permanent it is.
Yeah. Okay. No, I think you can get a tattoo.
Because I was thinking about it, like, I've always wanted a tattoo. I wanted a tattoo when I was a little kid, and Mom was like, you can get a tattoo when you turn 18. But my issue is I'm really, really indecisive.
Did Mom tell you that?
She did. But I never got one because there was nothing that I could think of that I wanted to have on my body forever.
Same.
Like, no disrespect to my wife. I love my wife, right? But I couldn't think of nothing that I wanted on my body
Sorry about you.
forever, right? I may get a tattoo. If I start getting tattoos, I may get my wife's name on my body. But I had a baby, right?
Yeah.
And I was thinking about getting something related to the baby. So, podcast people that are listening, let me know if you think 30 is too old to get your first tattoo.
You know what's interesting about that?
What's that?
Random conversation yesterday I was having with a future coworker of mine, and she offered for me to go with her to watch her get her half sleeve on her arm. It was really weird. Like,
Elbow up?
Yeah. She was like, I'm going to start my sleeve. You should come with me. I was like, to get tattoos? She's like, no, like to watch me get a tattoo. And at first I thought that was weird, but then I feel like that would be good for me. Because hypothetically, I want one, but I feel like watching someone else get a tattoo would definitely make me be like, nah, I'm good. I pass. So I don't know.
I ain't need that.
But I probably ain't going to get one. Make it a smiley face right behind my ear.
That's trash.
So I can hear happiness.
Outside of me turning 30, you turning 25, how are you?
Whoop, whoop. I'm good, I'm good in general. I'm a little bit bitter right now because my fake babe broke up with me about 30 minutes ago. So let's go ahead and go there.
Are you sure you want to talk about
We're
this?
here on the podcast. Listen, this podcast is for a
fresh.
conversation.
It's very fresh.
It's real fresh. You want to know how fresh it is? I'm still angry. The phone is still hot from the conversation, but it's
Your
fine.
vocals are hot. You
Oh,
just
did I
got
get
really loud?
Sorry.
Yeah, so I can tell.
I didn't mean to yell.
No,
Sorry,
it's
guys.
fine. It's fine.
No, it's cool. Other than that, I'm good. I'm chilling.
Well, what happened? Full disclosure, she's being honest. This really just happened about 30 minutes ago.
I'm not lying. This
So
legit happened.
Big Brother hasn't heard all of this story yet. So what is going on?
I'm not gonna tell the full story. There was a young gentleman that I started seeing. Literally started seeing January. Was it 20th? Whenever the inauguration was, because, but yeah, we started dating and we was hanging out and having a good time. However, indecisive millennials, our relationship was never confirmed. So we were dating, but there was no title on it. And I was like, this is stupid, but whatever, we cool. So a couple of weeks ago, I was kind of like, yo, I'm not really feeling this cat much anymore. So I was just gonna.
So you weren't feeling him.
It was like, I can tell that this isn't gonna be a long-term thing anymore. But he's buying me free meals and stuff, so I'll ride this out. It's about to be summertime too, so
That's kind of thottish.
So I mean, I'm partial to the thought. But anyways, so he texted me this morning, and we hadn't talked in like 2 days. He was like, we should probably talk. I'm like, is this fool really about to hit me with a breakup text? Like, what? I was like, what you need? He's like, I would rather not do this over text. I was like, then call me, fool. So I had to call him for us to have a 10-second conversation where he literally was like, we shouldn't see each other anymore. I was like, cool. Anything else? You good? You Gucci? All right, bye. So that's literally it. But I'm just mad because...
So he sent a text, then he called you and said, we shouldn't be talking anymore.
Essentially. And
How would you have preferred him handle it differently? Because you weren't official.
We weren't official. I literally, at this point, since we weren't official...
You've been unofficial for 6 months.
Unofficial? But we weren't official. You've been calling it the fade away. I was gonna just fade. Like, after our conversation started slowing down, we were talking as much, I was like, I'm just gonna go over here. But this fool had to make it like an official break, which I think I'm more mad about that.
Is
like,
that the proper protocol then? You're supposed to just, all right, we were never official. We're just kind of talking, so let's just not talk anymore.
How are you going to officially break up with somebody, but you didn't officially ask them to be your girlfriend? That's what I'm mad about.
That's kind of real.
That's what I'm mad about. I was like, so you can do this, but you couldn't ask me to be your girl. Oh, okay, whatever.
That's kind of messed up.
But
I don't like it. You want me to beat him up?
No, I could literally take that nigga.
He's a small dude. He's a small dude.
He's a tiny guy.
All right, not tripping. All right. So that's what that is. Let's get into these topics for today, man. Net neutrality.
Net neutrality.
Do you know what it is?
Yes. Yes, I do. But explain.
All right. So net neutrality, by definition, is the principle that internet service providers should enable access to all content and all applications, regardless of source, without favoring or blocking particular products or websites.
What?
Net neutrality basically means that an internet service provider, or an ISP for short, should not be able to say, hey, Netflix, if you pay me X amount of dollars, I'm gonna make it easier for my users to access your website. Net neutrality says that all users of the internet should have the same level of access to all websites. That is what net neutrality is in a nutshell.
So why is this a big deal? Why is this a thing?
All right, so 2015, the FCC, they passed this rule that said net neutrality was a thing. So that made it illegal for AT&T to say, Netflix, give us $500 million, and then we'll allow your website faster access to our users, right?
Okay.
So what's happening now is they just recently voted, actually, on Thursday to roll that rule back, right? So that's important for a couple of reasons. Some of them obvious, some of them not so obvious, right?
Okay.
So again, think about it. Without net neutrality, I'm using Netflix as an example, but you could use any company, right? But Netflix could say, all right, we're going to give AT&T $50 million, and that means that all of the users will be able to access Netflix faster, but it'll slow down other websites. That's a big issue for, think about maybe a startup company, right?
Okay.
Or think about this. This is specifically, before we dive more into this, let me say this. We're going to talk about quite a few political topics on this podcast because this is the type of stuff that me and my sister talk about, right?
Yep.
What I do want to say is that I really, really love this country, and I love the fact that we have freedom of expression, freedom of opinion.
Yeah.
I respect your ability to disagree with me, and I'll fight for it, right? I think that's something that makes our country great. The reason I'm saying that is because if you're listening to the podcast and I happen to say something politically that you don't disagree with, don't turn the podcast off. I just gave you all of the ways to communicate with me, right? I think one of the marks of intelligence is when you're presented with new information, you should be able to make a reasonable decision and change your mind, right?
Yeah.
So if you disagree with me, keep listening to the podcast. Hit us up on @EducatedBlackSiblings on any of those platforms. Let me know what you think, and let's really engage in this conversation.
Yeah, we want it to be a conversation. We ain't got to agree. Come through.
Right. All right, so think about this. The Republicans are the ones that are pushing this repeal of net neutrality through, right?
Okay.
So when you have a guy like Trump, no disrespect to Trump, if you voted for Trump, vote for Trump, that's fine, right? But what could happen, this is an extreme example, right? But let's say I'm a social activist,
Okay.
and I say, all right, this is real, right? I'm on the distribution list for the marijuana lobby in Texas. So every time they have a march, I go to the website. You can see when the march is.
March for weed,
right?
my dude.
And for the National Women's March. So that National Women's March that just happened all around the country, that was organized through their website, right?
Okay.
The government would now be able to, or they could now say, hey, we're going to give AT&T money to say, I want to slow down the speed of that website.
Oh, so I thought it was you could pay to get your site to be faster, but you can pay to slow down traffic to another site?
Logically, by definition, if I speed up your site, you have to slow. If everybody's equal now, in order to speed me up, you got to slow somebody else down, right?
Oh, that's sketch.
So you could literally make other websites unusable with this. And again, I know that that's an extreme example, but that could happen, right? It's important for small businesses, right? Think about. I know that nobody is really effing with Netflix, right? But think about like a Hulu, right? Or if somebody was going to start another startup streaming company. If Netflix is paying $200 million to get their site faster, they can crush all of the competition, right? They can say, all right, this streaming service is not going to be able to be as fast as us, so keep coming to Netflix, right? So I mean, that's why this is a big deal. It's a big deal. it can be, again, I'm not trying to be sensationalist, right? But it could be used for censorship, right? You could say, I don't agree with this political party, slow their traffic down. Or, as you said it, speed our traffic up. Yeah. Make it so that you can get to the Republican websites or the Democratic websites or the Libertarian websites, whatever political party you are, right?
Yeah.
Make it so you can get to those websites fast. Like, this is a huge deal, and people aren't paying a lot of attention, but they actually voted this week to repeal the law that put into place net neutrality. The FCC did this, right? So what that means is, over the next it doesn't go into effect immediately. There's no change that's going to happen right now. Over the next 90 days, the FCC is going to go into what's called a public comment period, where they're going to take public comments. So if you can go to fccyourself.com and leave a comment for the FCC on why you don't want there to be, or why you want there to be net neutrality. But like I was saying, it's going to, after the period of public comment, is going to go to a vote. Now, this is actually shady. There should be 5 commissioners on the FCC.
Okay.
Right? These are senators that are appointed by the president. Right? Currently, there's only 3 on the committee.
Okay.
2 of them are Republican.
Of course.
And 1 is a Democrat.
Yes.
So they're going to have to vote again at the end of the public comment period.
Do we get to vote?
No, it's the FCC.
It's just
the FCC, right? But since it's unbalanced right now, they're going to have no issue getting a 2-to-1 vote. So this is pretty much going to be law. Now, after that, the opposing side can appeal, but this is going to be really, really close to being law. So those of us that, if you oppose it, you should make that known. You should go to the FCC's website and comment during this public comment period.
My question is it going to become apparent to us that this is happening? Like, is it going to be immediately obvious? Like, are we going to be able to know, like, what sites are paying for certain things?
I doubt that that'll be public information, but I'm sure you'll be able to see the difference when you're going to smaller websites. Maybe if there's like a little blog that you go to, or maybe, look, best case scenario is not really a difference, right? Maybe they don't take advantage of this, and I'm not ignorant to the other side, right? Because when you think, why would people want this? Why would people want this, right? I happen to be a fan of limited government. Okay. Right? That is, I'm a fan of limited.
There it is.
Government, right? This law is directly opposed to that, right? What we're saying is we want the FCC to regulate the internet to make sure that it can be neutral.
Yes.
When you're getting rid of net neutrality, you're saying I want it to be the Wild Wild West, which is usually what I want. I want the market to be able to decide things, right? In general, but it's just in this particular instance, I think it can be detrimental. But I understand the other side. The other side makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, or even from a position of AT&T. AT&T is saying I should be able to charge however much I want for my services. If Netflix is doing 500 million streams a month, why would I not be able to charge them an extra $100 million to have access to my internet, right? So I get it from the other side, but it's just, this can be really, really dangerous, especially when we have a guy in office that is threatening to not let the press have access to the White House, who's talking about fake news. Like, what happens when one of these billion-dollar companies that he owns pays AT&T to slow down a lobby's website, or to increase only the parties that agree with him, right? This is, again, I know I'm being extreme, but that could happen.
But it's not extreme. That's the point. That's what I think makes this current political climate that we're in right now so intriguing. I don't say terrifying, but intriguing, because things that we used to think were extreme, like, I don't know, a reality star becoming president, are no longer extreme. So I think in this situation, something like net neutrality is a big deal, because we're already living in a time of extreme when it comes to politics. So this could just take that to the next level, which is kind of scary, man.
Yeah. I mean, won't stay on this topic forever. I mean, but you guys should be aware of it. We should be aware of it. Make sure that we vote in local elections, all that good stuff. We just had a local election in Crandall. I did vote for the school bond because I want y'all to have more money. You know what I'm saying? Support the teachers. So Trump fired Comey.
Listen, my dude Trump. I ain't got time for this, man.
How'd you feel about that?
Man, Trump is he's like a bitter kid on a playground.
Explain.
Man, Man, Trump was like, man, you told me I couldn't swing on this swing right here. Not only am I going to swing on this swing, but I'm going to push you off the entire playground, my dude. You don't even get to come back on this swing. Matter of fact, you don't even get to have recess no more.
real.
But what I love about this is Comey said, that's fine. I'm going to stand outside of this fence and I'm going to yell at you from outside the playground. And I'm going to say, hey, everybody come over here. Look at this bully over there on the swings.
That's real.
And I love this situation, man. Trump TV is the best TV.
If you don't like Donald Trump and you've been shouting from the beginning of the year that you want to impeach him, up until this point you have been wrong because Trump has not done anything illegal. And there has to be a legal precedent to impeach a president. Something that is could be a gift of him firing Comey is there could be some illegality here, right? Oh. Because Trump has basically come out now and said, because originally he was hiding behind a recommendation. He said, people recommended that I fire this person. But in an interview recently, he said, I was going to fire him anyway because I was tired of him investigating me. That doesn't sound like a big deal, but that's actually obstruction of justice, right?
Well, yeah.
If you fire somebody because they're investigating you, that's illegal.
Oh, you on to me? And you gotta go, bro.
And he said that out loud, out of his own mouth.
He's
right.
He's a great guy.
Then on Twitter, right? This is gonna be the first. This is gonna be the first impeachment ever where Twitter is like evidence number one.
We call to our witness tweet number 333.
Tweet number 333. Please introduce it into evidence.
Go ahead.
But on Twitter, he said James Comey better hope that there are no tapes of our conversations before he starts leaking to the press. Which is a threat.
Definitely a threat. Right. No, my dude, that's a promise.
Like, I need you to understand it. Like, Trump just tried to intimidate the former FBI director on social media. He's literally a social media bully.
Listen, this isn't new. Trump has threatened Mexico. He's threatened China. He's threatened North Korea. Trump and his Twitter are my daily entertainment. I can't with this guy, man. I can't.
So those are two things that could possibly be. It's a reach. It's definitely a reach
for him to be impeached.
Well, yeah, because you have to have a majority in the House. So you'd have to get 22 votes to bring forward an impeachment.
But they've got the House and the
the Republicans out of the House. So why would they do that, right?
Sure.
But if he continues to do illegal stuff, I mean,
if he continues on the trajectory that he's currently on,
continues on the path of being a dictator.
If Trump stays Trump, we're good, guys.
What's crazy is that it's only been 5 months.
It hasn't even been a year. I was talking about that with somebody this week. Like, oh my gosh, Trump, I feel like you've been president forever. Bruh literally just got to like his second month. Like, I can't.
But we always focus on the negative. There's some good stuff that Trump has done. He gave a bunch of guns to Kenya. And I know that sounds crazy, but so that Kenya can, I don't know, defend themselves, maybe. I have a friend that's a Kenyan, and he likes Trump. And he was trying to explain to me why Trump is great because he's helping out his country. Okay. When I was saying it right now, I was trying to argue the other side, but it didn't.
That was weird to me.
It didn't. His hair is fantastic. It's not.
It's not. I haven't been paying attention to his fashion. Are his suits tailored yet?
His suits are not tailored. He has the frumpiest suits of any billionaire.
You're so rich. Like, pay for your suits to get tailored, my dude.
Like, my suits are tailored.
Pay to get your hair done professional. Like, I don't know who's doing his hair, but come on. You the president. Step your game up, sir.
So here's the thing that we'll move on from Trump. Here's the thing that terrifies me most about Trump. Did you see the fact that that he gave classified information to Russia the other day?
Yes. Also, did you hear about how we found out about that information?
No, go ahead.
Like, apparently this was supposed to be a closed door meeting with Russia because you know how Trump operates. So it was supposed to be a closed door meeting, and he was like, no press, no media, no cameras, or nothing. But I guess that memo just got to the American press because the Russians were like, nah, we documented this. So it got out because there were pictures of Trump having this meeting with the Russians that the Russians took. And he was like, y'all weren't supposed to take them pictures? I'm like, bro, I can't handle you.
That's kind of trash, bro.
But anyways.
So basically it was information about ISIS positions that he gave to Russia. And we're getting to the part that terrifies me, right? So Trump's defense, everybody's up in arms. It's like, you're giving information to Russia. Like, why are you doing this, right? But Trump comes out and Trump says something that's absolutely true. Trump says, as the president of the United States, I have the right to legally declassify any information that I want to. And you know what, Lindsay? He is absolutely right. The president of the United States can tell any country anything that he wants to. There is a I hate anonymous sources, but there's an anonymous source in the White House that responded to this and said he has no filter. It's in one ear and out the mouth. This is somebody that works at the White House. But that's what terrifies me about Trump, is what he said is true. Mm-hmm. He is legally allowed to disclose any amount of information that he wants to.
It's just at what point does he give away information that he shouldn't be giving away?
He gave away strategic military information, right? Russia is opposed to us in the Syria conflict, which, we bombed Syria again, 2 days ago. It's not making as big a headlines, but what happened was...
Because we didn't drop the mother of all bombs.
We did not drop the mother of all bombs.
Trump said, give me the biggest bomb in the back, please. That one.
This one was actually probably justified, the way that they're spinning it, but there were Syrian forces that were headed towards... that were headed in the general direction of our forces.
Gotcha.
So we blew them away. And it was tanks, so I understand. But anyway, he gave away classified military strategic information to Russia.
Okay.
A country that we are militarily opposed to, right? We're fighting the reason why Russia was so angry with us about what we did in Syria is because we're fighting a proxy war in Syria right now, right? Russia is supporting Syria and we're opposed to Syria. Or not to Syria the country, we're opposed to Assad, right? So let me say that. But anyway, this thing is all crazy. It's looking more and more like there was some sort of collusion with Russia.
Yeah.
I was opposed to all of the conspiracy theories before, but I don't know.
This is what I'll say real quick. Listen, at the end of the day, Trump is the president, and I ain't vote for that dude, but I'll support you as my president because you're my president. Just don't make dumb decisions. But what I will say, what Trump has done for me personally is made me become a more informed citizen.
Yeah.
And I'm more active in the political process and learning, and especially with all of this fake news and this and that, you have to go out of your way to find sources that aren't biased, or you have to look at it from the other side. You can't just take in information from wherever, because everything is skewed now, and you can't just trust anything you hear. So what I will say is that whilst a lot of the things coming out of the White House and from DC are negative, that at least encourages me, and I know you, and hopefully all of y'all, to go out and be informed and to find out this information, and to not just take secondhand stuff, but for yourself, go out and figure out what's going on, not just in our country, but in the world in general. So
that's real. Midterm elections are coming up. It sounds like I'm a liberal. I am a liberal person, but I'm not a Democrat. I'm also not a Republican.
Yeah.
If I had to pick, I'm probably more libertarian, but I'm a conservative liberal is what I am. But anyway, midterm elections are coming up, like my sister said, so be informed. Whatever side you're on, I think it's important to be informed and go out and vote. The midterm elections are going to be really, really important.
Very.
So Kanye West is going to
Let's segue.
No segues.
Okay.
Kanye West announced that he is going to a mountaintop to seclude himself.
Okay.
And he's making his next album. How do you feel about that?
I think it's about time Kanye went away. Listen, as I said last week, Kanye West is my favorite rapper of all time. I love that dude, but Kanye has been wilding out. Now, luckily, I got to go see him at what was his tour? Not Jesus. The album he just dropped. I can't even think of the name of the album. Pablo, yeah. So I got to see him when he came to Dallas, or wherever. We're in Dallas. I saw him when he came here, and it was fantastic. It was a fantastic show. But shortly after that, that's when everything with Kim went down, and Kanye started going off on rants on Twitter and at concerts and stuff, like he's been doing. But I think Kanye going away is good for Kanye. You can tell. Within the last decade, he hasn't been himself. Clearly. So Kanye, go away, take you some time, get you on that mountaintop. Like I said last week, God is your bread and butter. Spend some time with Jesus and come back to us with them hot fire lyrics. But I'm okay with that he goes away.
Check this out.
Check it out.
There are two other times documented that Kanye West has secluded himself.
Tell me more.
The first time that we ever heard of Kanye secluding himself is on College Dropout, when he said, "I locked myself in a basement." And why are you laughing? That's what he said on the track. He said doing 3 beats a day for 3 summers. It's a different world like Cree Summers, right?
Yes.
The result of him locking himself away was College Dropout.
There it is.
Then we know for a fact that he locked himself. He bought this place in Hawaii. He locked himself away, and the result of that was Twisted Fantasy.
So there it is.
I'm excited about this.
If he comes out with another Twisted Fantasy, I need a visual with it too, Kanye.
Like, I am excited about that. I'm excited for Kanye to come back making good music. Speaking of people that I want to come back making good music, Jay-Z just signed a new deal with Live Nation.
Listen, before we get into that, I've got a bone to pick with Jay-Z. I get you're doing your title stuff, Jay-Z, but that is no excuse to take your music off of Spotify. I'm mad that you didn't even send like a letter or nothing to nobody. Like, I get on because I'm trying to listen to my Holy Grail in the morning and get me pumped. This mess just gone. My Jay-Z playlist went from like 150 songs to like 2.
The Black Album is just gone.
It's just gone. Blacked out. Disappeared. It's a hard not life out here.
Shut up.
So, like, where's my Jay-Z music? I mean, because I am buying title.
So he's, I'm definitely.
And B, I love you, but I'm not.
I just change my email address every time something pops up on title that I need.
Free trial.
Free trial. All right, so he signed a new tour deal with Live Nation.
Okay.
So I think it was $200 million for 10 years, right?
The tour?
To tour. So he's planning on touring for the next 10 years. Jay-Z's what, 47? So he's going to be 57 at the end of this deal.
He got 2 kids on the way.
Got 2 kids on the way. Forbes, I'm just giving you random Rock Nation information right now. Forbes just recently confirmed that Jay-Z and Beyonce have a combined net worth of $1 billion now.
$1 billion, we made it.
$1 billion, we made it.
I mean, I'm not surprised. Jay-Z owns all of New York.
That's fair.
And Beyonce is actually just Beyonce. So
Beyonce is
it's fine.
a deity of sorts.
Her unborn twins have more money than I, so it's fine.
That's real. Lots of people have more money than you.
You know what?
So
the teacher life is hard. It's a struggle, but it's okay.
It's a tough life.
It's okay. Yeah, college loans. All right.
So I saw something this week that kind of made me happy, but I'm not sure if I'm happy about it. But
The Rompers?
no, I'm not talking about no damn rompers. What's wrong with
Let's
you?
just get into it, Gilbert.
No.
Would you wear a Rompum?
No.
Would you not?
No, what I look like? I'm a grown ass man.
Listen.
You got me cursing on the podcast. No,
Listen.
I'm a grown man. What I look like wearing a romper?
Listen, I think you could pull a romper off.
No. Okay, check this out. What I will say about the rompers is when you originally said it to me, I was picturing like a girdle, like just a straight
girdle.
like a straight onesie. The rompers that I saw, I have no issue with these rompers because they actually do look stylish.
Like, look.
There's no difference between that and these skinny jeans that these cats is wearing right now anyway. It's just a stylish thing. I don't think it changes your masculinity if you wear one of these rompers.
No, it isn't.
No, I'm not gonna. For the record, I am not going to wear
Gilbert owns 2
a
rompers,
romper.
or rompims, if you will.
Rompim.
I
That
don't-
name is kind of.
It's come on,
Rompim.
marketing.
Yeah.
I mean, how is
I'm gonna romp him tonight.
Tell us more.
No,
Tell us more about your romping.
No, okay.
Like, when I thought about it, I said, how is this different from overalls in like the 90s and 80s?
Bro, that's fair. I did
You know what
have
I mean?
overalls.
Like, everybody rocked the overalls with your Timbs, and you had your one little overall hanging off. Like, I don't understand how this is
Wait,
different.
were overalls rompims?
Overalls were the original rompums.
Like a Dickie suit?
Like a-
Bruh!
Like, that's what I'm saying.
The
Like,
Cholos used to rock them Dickie suits in San Antonio, son.
man, we just grew up in Cholo City.
We did grow up in Cholo City.
You said Cholo, and I just had flashbacks
Yeah.
of my entire childhood.
Rompers really wasn't on the list. of things to
Rompers
talk
was
about,
not.
though.
I'm sorry, it wasn't on the list, but I saw that picture, and I was like, these rompers, if done correctly, they look
They
fine.
don't look bad. They don't. I don't.
Like,
I don't
I
have
had-
any issue with the rompers.
I had to
Rompers are
pause
fine.
and ask myself, if a dude approached me trying to holler and he was wearing a romper, what would I do?
What would you do, Lindsay?
It depends on how you feeling at that romper. Like, how
You
would
gotta be swole.
you got
You gotta be swole.
you gotta look nice, man. You gotta have a little something.
Now, if a dude approached me wearing a rompim,
How you gonna feel?
first and foremost, I'll be flattered.
Okay.
I'll be flattered because if he's wearing a rompim, that's a stylish young man anyway,
is.
right? But I would have to first tell him that I'm not into dudes. You know, I'm just
Sir, thank you. Your romper is lovely.
your romper is lovely,
But you will not be romping me.
but you will not be romping me.
I am not
Let me
the
tell
romping
you.
for
can
you.
romp him, but let me tell you what you're not.
Let me
gonna
tell you
romp
what you're not
today.
gonna romp today, sir.
Me.
Me. Romp not.
You're not gonna romp this
You
round.
shall. You
Ain't gonna be no romping of this romp.
This is a romp free zone.
This is a romp free zone. So they're coming up with another Friday sequel.
I saw that last Friday.
Last Friday.
No
But,
Fridays.
But
please.
Ice Cube confirmed it, right? Ice Cube confirmed that he's writing it.
Of course he did.
But I think that if they greenlit this movie, they have to have Smokey and Day Day. Chris Tucker is back on the comedy scene. He's back doing stand-up. His stand-up was pretty bad.
It was so bad.
It was pretty bad. But he's back trying to do stuff. Do you want to see...
No!
But to wrap up the story? No?
The story is wrapped. Here's my thing. Here's my thing. I'm tired of Hollywood coming out here for these cash grabs. Like, stop. Be creative. Come through with the creativity. Like, stop being like, these black people about to come through with the Friday. Everybody, nostalgia. Like, stop. These kids out here right now don't care about Friday. Like, let's be real. These kids don't care about Ice Cube. Like, these kids don't even know that Ice Cube used to rap.
That's true.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, nobody, like, this is literally just a money grab. Like, the story doesn't call for it. The story didn't really call for the sequels, to be honest. Did I laugh? Yeah, sure. But I didn't need it. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Like, First Friday was good.
The sequel is king.
Unfortunately.
The sequel
Speaking
is king.
of which, I saw Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
I haven't seen it yet. No spoilers.
No spoilers, but I went with that ratchet nigga that I just broke up with, but he accidentally bought IMAX 3D tickets. And I will say, if you have an opportunity to have somebody else pay for you to go see an IMAX 3D movie, you should, because it was fantastic.
Even if he's going to fade away.
Even if he's going to fade away, you get that nigga for all his money.
Man.
Because it was fantastic.
Y'all did go on a lot of dates.
We went on all the dates, and he paid for all of them. Thanks, Jason.
Did you just say his name on the podcast? Man, that's cold. So we're about to get into some music. Me and Lindsay were talking beforehand. We want to make sure that y'all understand that this is
Wait,
not...
are we getting into music?
We are about to get into some music.
I have something else I need to tell you real quick. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
It was real quick. I meant to
what's
tell
the deal?
you.
What's the deal?
So last night I was flipping through Twitter. And I saw something. But real quick before I get into that. So do you know the show The Bachelor?
Yeah, I'm aware of it.
Right?
I don't watch it.
So never cared about The Bachelor except for the first season. Watched The Bachelor, and the first season was very intriguing. And the two people ended up at the end. I remember his name was Ryan. I think her name was like Trisha or something. And they got together. He proposed. It was beautiful. They have like 4 kids. And they're like married in some like Pennsylvania suburb or something. I don't know. Didn't look it up. Don't care. But it was really cute. Then after that, it became just actors doing the most, right? Just like every reality TV show. However, last night I'm on Twitter and I'm rolling through and I see this ad that's like, oh snap, y'all, Rachel Lindsay is coming. And I'm narcissistic. So I said, what, my name? What's going on here? Do you know who Rachel Lindsay is?
I have no idea who Rachel
They
Lindsay
are
is.
having the first black bachelorette. And I was like, hold up, wait. Lindsay may need to come through and watch this.
What?
So I don't know, like, I'm asking you, does the idea of having a black, well, probably not, but having a black bachelorette? Oh my God, I think I'll call her the bachelorette. They should.
Probably.
A black bachelorette, does that make you any more inclined to watch that show or care about it at all?
The fact that I'm about to tell you that I was unaware that there's never been a black bachelorette should answer that. But maybe, I don't know. It's not going to make me want to watch it. But the mediums that I listen to will probably talk about it more. Like, so maybe I'll be more interested in it.
Okay. Here's the thing. I'm around a lot of people that watch The Bachelorette and The Bachelor.
Is she going to be ratchet?
And they don't, how can I say this? They don't look like me.
Right.
Okay, hashtag we love white people. Because all of the bachelors, if you flip through the rosters, it's white. And I'm not saying that has stopped me from watching The Bachelor. I didn't watch it because it was a terrible show. But now, like if you even look at the cast of men, they've got a whole bunch of chocolate. They've got some brownies up in there.
Okay.
And I was like, man, is this season of The Bachelor about to be lit? Like, should I watch? Like, even BET posted something. So I don't know.
I don't have cable. What channel does it come on?
I don't know. I think ABC.
Okay, I get that.
But then I thought about it, and it's like, did they achieve their purpose? Because here I am a young black female, and that's the demographic that they're trying to get.
Oh, you think it's a demographic?
And now
grab.
I feel like it's a demographic grab. Like I feel like they were trying to appeal to me, and The Bachelor became relevant to me for the first time in over a decade. You know what I mean? So it's like, do I want to watch this show and give them this money? Is that what I want to do?
That's why
I don't know. But y'all can we please watch
You want to watch The Bachelorette and talk about
You know what? You don't even have to. I'll watch it and I'll just give weekly updates.
Already. We can do that.
Hey.
We can do that. So we were talking, Lindsay and I, about the podcast. I want to make sure that you guys know. I know our last top 5 was Kanye West, and we talk about hip hop a lot because we like hip hop. But this is not a hip hop podcast, so we're going to talk about all genres of music. But this is something that's come up recently. The word pop, right? So the word pop is short for popular. It just means popular music. In my opinion, hip hop is pop because hip hop is the most pervasive form of music in the United States of America. Period. But we can save that for a different day.
You hear that, Miley?
What I would like to do though is define pop for this podcast. What does pop mean to us, right? So I looked up the definition. Pop is a type of music that is usually played on electronic instruments that is popular with many people because it consists of short songs with a strong beat and simple tunes. Okay. That sounds about right. It says pop music is a genre of popular music that originated from its original form. It is seen as typical just singles that move up the charts. Identifying factors generally include short to medium length songs written in basic format, often in a verse chorus structure, as well as the common use of repeated choruses, melodic tunes, and hooks. Which sounds like rap.
Why are we talking about pop, Gilbert?
Because we're going to talk about Paramore. And I want to know what pop means, because you say pop, I say pop means popular, right? Mm-hmm. But it's pop just, you know pop when you hear it, I guess, yes. Right? But it's like London Grammar isn't pop. Would you consider London Grammar pop?
I don't consider London Grammar at all. But
dang,
no.
That's cold.
They're nice, not for me.
Is Ellie Gouldie pop?
Yes.
Ellie Gouldie's pop to you?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was gonna say she's electronic.
Or like okay,
is Tegan and Sarah pop? Is all electro house? Well, I guess electro house doesn't really have.
Tegan and Sarah's not. But that we're no. So here we go. Is Ariana Grande pop?
Ariana Grande's pop.
Okay, but that's popular music pop. But she also has synthy stuff too, though, right?
But does the inclusion of synths in your music make you pop?
I don't know. I just feel like to me, when you think pop as in popular music, I don't call that pop. I just call that top 40 music.
That's a good one.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's just top 40 stuff. So Ariana Grande is top 40. But when I think pop, like doop boop pop doop boop pop pop pop, doesn't have to have pops in it. But that's what I think of pop with the synths and stuff.
All right.
So I mean, I don't know.
So we are gonna do album reviews on this podcast. My sister is a huge Paramore fan. I am also a Paramore fan. So we're gonna talk about Paramore's new album, which is called
After Laughter.
After Laughter. So I've listened to it a few times. Lindsay, how'd you feel about it?
Man, so here's the thing. Like I said,
For the hip hop fans, we're gonna talk about Logic's album too in a minute.
Don't go away. Don't
hang on.
Stay in there.
All right.
I love Paramore. I've loved Paramore since the beginning of Paramore, like way back in like 2004, man. But here's the thing. Paramore was a rock band. Like their first album literally had like screamo on it, like rock band, heavy guitars, heavy drum cadences, like a rock band. Now, over the last couple of years, they've gone through band changes, and they've had certain people leave that contributed to the music. But even their album that they released after the band changes, even though it was more, you could tell they were trying stuff out with their sound, it was still rocky. This album has, in my opinion, no rock on it whatsoever. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Like, I'm all for bands and artists growing and changing as an artist, because I feel like your artistry should grow. But just to me, when I'm looking forward to having that rock element and it's not there at all, it was kind of disappointing. With that being said, I love the album. Like, you still get the vocals, the music.
You love this album?
Love is a strong word. I liked this album. Like, it's not as bad as I thought it was originally when I looked at it separately. When I looked at it, instead of it just being looking for rock, when I knew there was no rock, I went back and listened to it again. It's fine. Like, it still has her vocals. The lyrics are still emotionally charged. And there's some bops. So it's some bops. So it's like,
what was your favorite bop on this album?
What is that song called? Rose-Colored Boy is cute.
Rose-Colored Boy is good.
And then I can't think of the other song after that one. The first three are the bops. Hard Time is a bop.
So I enjoyed this album as well. You guys will get to know this about me. Lindsay knows this about me. I am really, really big on lyrics. Mm-hmm. I don't know if Haley writes all the songs.
Yes.
She does. She's awesome. Yes. I really, really, the first time through, I was listening while I was working, so I wasn't really into the lyrics. I was just kind of listening to it for the bops.
Don't do me.
I listened to it 3 times. The second and third time, I was able to just kind of sit down with a little glass of whiskey. You know what I'm saying? And take
whiskey and listen to your Paramore.
Listen to Paramore. You know what I'm saying?
Whiskey.
But it's really good. It's a really good album lyrically. Like she's an excellent writer. I thought 26, the song 26, that's classic Paramore to me. Like that song was really acoustic. It sounded like Only Exception-ish. You know what I mean? And then toward the last 3 songs were what you were talking about before. They were really rocky. It was like more of their traditional thing. The thing that really grabbed me about this album is it was kind of jarring that this album, the reason we brought up the word pop is because Lindsay told me that this album sounded like a pop album. This album sounds really, really happy.
But
like sonically, it's really, really upbeat. There's lots of synths, whatever. But the subject matter is extremely dark. Like, it's interesting.
And that's something that she's not the only one. Josh Farrow, who was the brother that left, he used to also write for them. That's something that they both did well. Like, their lyrics flow so well in these happy songs. So she'll be singing, like, a hook that goes, ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-ba, and everybody will join on and sing it. But when you listen to what she's talking about, you're like, man, that's dark as heck.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? So this album is still Paramore form, if you will.
My favorite song in the album is probably a song called Fake Happy, where she's talking about being fake happy.
Yes.
It is a really good. It was a good album. I gave it on the EBS podcast. We're gonna rate albums on a scale of 1 to 5, or 0 to 5, I guess. I gave this one a solid 3.
I also gave it a 3.
It was a solid 3. So we're gonna get into Logic's album in a moment.
If you haven't listened to Paramore's Brand New Eyes, you should do yourself a favor and go listen to it.
That's Brand New Eyes is a classic album.
Hands down their best album.
The writing on that album is spectacular.
Yes.
If you like rock, it's kind of like that grunge rock. I don't want to compare them to Fall Out Boy, but that's kind of that's kind of the feel. You know what I mean? It was that era. It was that era of rock, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Miley Cyrus dropped a new song.
And I listened to it, and it's hot Malibu trash.
It is hot Malibu trash.
Miley. But you can go ahead, miss. I don't want to be with hip-hop, bebop to no bops. You have no more bops, Miley. So go ahead and strum your guitar, madam, into obscurity. Thank you.
Yeah, so Miley has a really good voice, so it's like but it's just not a good song. And I don't know if it's because I'm mad at her, but it's not a good song.
Listen, Miley, it's trash. I'm sorry about you. But you know what made me mad? As I went to go listen to Miley's song, like her album art pops up and it's her like licking a popsicle with like glitter on her face, and then Miley laying in a field of daisies now for Malibu.
She's
like,
the most.
Miley, you can go ahead and get gone. That's what you
so are you still mad at Miley? Is that what you're?
So Logic came out with an album.
Is that what you're saying?
Called Everybody.
Yeah.
And it's literally for everybody.
It is. This album has been called the All Lives Matter
my gosh.
of albums.
Logic, my dude, you need a hug. So before I tell you how I feel about Logic's album, it's important to know how I found Logic because it makes sense. So I have a friend, I'm not going to say his name, but my friend is mixed. He has a black dad and a white mom, and he came up to me. He was like, yo, Lindsay, have you heard Logic's new album? I was like, what are you talking about, dude? He's like, yo, his album is fire. You need to listen to it. So I listened to Logic. I listened to like his mixtape or something else. I was like, man, Logic is real cool. And I didn't really get into him until he did a couple of interviews. And I was like, man, I like Logic. But it makes sense that this particular friend was super, super jazzed about Logic because of Logic's content matter, if you will. Logic.
Here's the thing about Logic. When it comes to hip hop, everybody knows this about me. I've said this 3 times on this podcast. I like lyrics, right? I like concepts. Lupe Fiasco is one of my favorite rappers of all time, right? I love Lupe Fiasco.
Sorry.
I love Common. I love Mos Def. I even like Tech Nine, Talib Kweli. Like, these are the kinds of guys that I like to like. Kendrick, right now, Kendrick is killing the game, right? So it used to always throw people off that I don't like Logic, because Logic checks off all of my boxes. Like, Logic is lyrical. I've listened to every Logic album. Logic has fantastic concepts from beginning to end on each of his albums. I just don't like Logic. Now, what we need to establish for this podcast is there's a difference between not liking something and disliking something.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not hating on Logic. Logic is just not for me.
You. Yeah.
Right? And the last album, Bobby Tarantino, I figured out what it is. It's that Logic, to me, doesn't sound like Logic. When I listen to Logic, because I listen to so much hip hop, when I listen to Logic, I'm like, yo, you sound like Kendrick on this song. Or I'll be like, oh, you sound like Cole, you sound like Big Sean on this song. Like, he doesn't really own his style, right? He's all over the place. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that I don't hear Logic when I listen to Logic. I hear the other popular rappers that are doing the thing that he's doing.
Yeah, in this era where we've got so many different people that are killing the game, you've got to kind of have
your own thing.
You got to have
right?
your own thing to stand out. Yeah.
But anyway, I listened to the Logic album. This is probably my favorite Logic album thus far. It was great lyrically from top to bottom. Sonically, it's fantastic. The beat selection, whoever picks his beats work great. Again, he checks off all of my boxes. The concept on this album was fantastic when he was doing the whole interludes where he's talking to God and, it's like everybody is everybody, which actually the skits just made the album make more sense. Mind blown. My favorite, the reason this album finally had a song that resonated with me. He had a song called Anxiety, which was fantastic. I think most people, quote unquote millennials, all say that they deal with some sort of anxiety. That is definitely something that I struggle with in my life. And that song like perfectly encapsulated how I feel. Yeah. And I was like, man, I really, really love it when music can relate to me, right? Another thing that points out, I'm sorry to go back on why I don't like Logic.
You're fine.
But it's that I don't, one of the marks of a good rap album to me is if I say I wish I would have written that rap album. Like most other black boys of my age, I was a rapper at one point in time.
Yeah, you were.
Right? So a lot of times when I listen to an album, if I come away from that album saying, dang, I wish I would have made that body of work, then I think it's a great body. Like, damn, Kendrick's album, I wish I would have wrote that album. Like, I never feel that way with Logic. And I want to say that I don't relate to Logic, but I feel like that's hypocritical because when I listen to Jay-Z, I don't say I don't relate to being a crack dealer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Logic's album, this new album is really, really charged with the biracial struggle.
It just is.
And I don't relate to I don't have anything against the biracial struggle.
We're not knocking the biracial struggle.
But I don't relate to it. And that's what, like, his album was about. Like, it was very poignant. There's a part in the album where he's like, you don't know what it's like to grow up with a white mother that calls you nigger. I was like, dang, I feel that.
I don't know.
But I don't know what that's like, right? So it's like, I get it. The album was good. I also gave this album 3 out of 5.
Yeah, not my favorite Logic album. The Incredible True Story is my favorite Logic album, but hand shout out to whoever's doing his artwork. His album work is fantastic. But that fool has a line on Black Spider-Man where he says, "I'm just as white as the Mona Lisa. I'm just as black as my cousin Keisha." And I said, Logic, bye Felicia, because I'm done with you, my dude. Chill out. You dude. I can't handle Logic. He's doing too much.
What'd you rate down?
3.
You gave it a 3 too. So we're threes all around today.
Threes all around.
We're very we're very non-committal.
Very.
So we talked about Miley earlier. I'm not gonna come back to Miley because I know you don't want to talk about Miley, right? But we talked about the whole cultural appropriation thing. What about Katy Perry? So Katy Perry dropped a song. So she dropped. First of all, Katy Perry. Katy Perry is an amazing writer.
Her first album is fantastic.
Like, lyrically is great, right? But her first single is a song called Bon Appetit with the Migos. Go back to the last album. Her first single was the song with Juicy J, right? But she's got a song with the Migos. And then this week she released a song, I think it's called Swish Swish with Nicki Minaj. Do you lump, because you had some vitriol from Miley last week for leveraging hip hop. Do you lump Katy in the same category?
Absolutely, I do, because Katy is still from that same. I don't know how to describe this. I'm not about to go on a rant. You ain't got to do me. Katy came from that like very, very hardcore religious background. And then here she come like, oh, wait, I'm trying to have a single. So hold on, let me put on my lip gloss and kiss a girl so I can get out here and get these ducats. And that's fine, Katy, if you want to do that. But I feel like I don't have time to mess with Katy Perry because she's out here jumping and bebopping and hopping to whatever is going to be hot in the streets the next week. And it's like, if you want to use hip-hop Katy Perry, that's fine because you've been doing it consistently. And she hasn't knocked hip-hop to this point, I don't think, like yet. So as long as you don't poo-poo on the platform that you're using to get your views.
I got you.
You know what I mean? So as long as you still... Now, here's the thing. Personally, I don't mess with Katy Perry because I feel like she said some things that are stupid. And I don't have time for you, Katy Perry. But I'm not gonna lie, she's got some bops. Like when
bops.
Dark Horse comes on, I'm bopping.
She's got some bops.
But I don't.
So it's not the leveraging of hip hop culture; it's the denigration of hip hop culture after the leveraging of hip hop culture that frustrates.
Like I said, I feel like everybody uses something to push themselves to the next platform. Like we just talked about Logic, whether he knows it or not, he's using other artists' rap schemes and whatever, and they're influencing himself. So if Katy Perry is going to use other artists and they're going to allow that, like Nicki Minaj may be on a Katy Perry song, but Nicki Minaj is out here singing pop music all the time.
That's what I'm saying.
And she claims to be an MC.
So this is what gets to me, right? This is a very it's a very cloudy area because I think I think black people, we feel as though we own hip hop because it came from black and Latino culture, which is true, but it's very, very important for us to point out now that hip hop is pop culture.
Yeah.
Yesterday, my wife pointed this out, right? There's young Caucasian people that live on my street, and you never hear the young black kids on my street playing loud hip hop music. There were 3 white girls in a car that drove past my house yesterday, and I heard every N-word possible.
Every single
and
one.
It was a bop.
It was our bop.
They were jamming,
White
right?
girls be bopping.
So if Katy Perry consumes and enjoys hip hop, she said she's a fan of hip hop, right? And she's an artist, and she wants to express that in her music. We can't tell her she can't do that.
No.
She's a fan of hip hop, right?
Fine.
The problem comes in again is what you said. Don't poo poo on the doo doo.
Don't poop on the doo-doo foo-foo. If you were going to like hip-hop, if hip-hop is going to influence your music, that's fine. But don't come through and trash hip-hop. Nicki Minaj cannot come out here and be like, man, F pop music. I hate these fools. No, because I'm going to say, Nicki, you can go ahead and sit your beehive-headed self down. Because you can't do that after you have stood on that platform.
Facts.
You just don't get to.
Facts.
I'm sorry about you. But no, like as long as Katy Perry, do you. If you want to have that influence, that's fine. Just don't be Miley Cyrus.
So what happened to the Pentatonics? Or is there... We're done? Not going to talk about the Pentatonics?
Not going to talk about Pentatonics.
All right. And then you were mentioning... So I don't really understand all of the... we're going to get to our top 5 soon, right? I don't really understand all of the legal ramifications of the thing you were talking about, but somebody took a movie hostage or something.
So I watch a lot of YouTube things, like YouTube news shows, and this guy, Philip DeFranco, which I love, you should check out Philip DeFranco. We're going to talk about in a little bit, because he's actually trying to start an unbiased news network, which I think is a very interesting concept, because I don't know if that can actually exist. But anyways, they mentioned something that I thought was crazy, that apparently there's this thing that's been happening for a while where people take movies that are unreleased and hold them hostage. So essentially what happened this week was that somebody said, hey, this new Pirates movie that's about to come out, the Pirates of the Caribbean, they kidnapped this movie somehow. Like they have the movie.
So they hacked it.
They hacked it. So they're like, hey, either you pay us X amount of money or we are going to release 5-minute snippets of this movie like every day. And I think that's interesting because apparently this happened before. If you remember last year when the new season of Orange is the New Black was about to come out on Netflix, the first 5 episodes were leaked out. And apparently it's because people hacked, they got the season, they're like, hey, we're going to release these if you don't pay us. And Netflix was like, boop, bye, go ahead. And it didn't hurt them, but I feel like with the movie, this is going to be super detrimental to them because I wasn't going to see that Pirates movie anyway. But if I could just get online and watch that mug for free, you ain't getting my ducats. So, I don't know. I just thought that was an interesting concept of people out here stealing
movies.
And holding them for ransom. Like, literally, I think that's crazy.
The most interesting part of that to me is I work in IT, so I'm familiar with the penalties. But if they get caught, they're going to go to jail for 25 to life.
For all of the years.
Which is crazy, right?
All of the years.
You get more time for cyber crimes than you do for killing another human being. That's not the topic that we're talking about. I've never seen a Pirates of the Caribbean movie, so I don't particularly care. Mm-hmm. But I do think it's interesting that people are taking movies hostage.
Yeah, I thought that was crazy.
I think that is crazy. Speaking of movies. The top 5 for this week is our top 5 favorite Will Smith movies.
So, I don't know if y'all know this or not, but Will Smith has been in all of the
Will
movies.
Smith has been in exactly 5 movies.
He's been in at least 42 movies. I Googled this week how many movies has Will Smith been in, and it literally said at least 42. And I have never known laughter until that moment.
I have a list. You want a list?
Of all the movies?
Yeah, of all the Will Smith movies that he has starred in.
That he has starred in.
Will Smith has starred
You're not
in
going to read all of his movies right now. How many movies is it?
Collateral Beauty,
Gilbert!
Suicide Squad,
Oh my God.
Concussion, Focus, After Earth, Men in Black 3, 7 Pounds, Hancock, I Am Legend, The Pursuit of Happiness, Hitch, Shark Tale, I, Robot, Bad Boys 2, Men in Black 2.
Why are you doing this?
Cassius Clay,
Please stop.
and Ali.
Ali?
Ali?
stop.
Ali. The Legend of Bagger Vance.
This is making me...
Men in Black, Alien Attack. That was a short film. Wild Wild West, Enemy of the State, Men in Black, Independence Day, Bad Boys, and 6 Degrees of Separation. The movie where... Never mind, actually. But that was one
So
of those...
I don't know where you got your list from, but that list is inaccurate.
How's that inaccurate?
You didn't say 7 pounds.
Oh, I did skip 7 pounds.
You didn't say it. So listen, I don't know wherever your facts are coming from, but they're wrong facts. And
Did you
here's
just
why.
fact
Here's
check me?
why. Because
Did you
Gilbert
just fact check
Gilbert
me on
tried
the
to listen
podcast?
here. Gilbert tried to come through for me this week when I was like, no, we should do Will Smith. And he was like, Will Smith ain't got no movies. Will Smith ain't done nothing. I said, you can get gone, Gilbert. Like, what you talking about? Will Smith ain't got no movies.
I said he had... My comment was Will Smith does not have more than 6 movies.
And
That's
Will
what I
Smith
thought.
literally has all the movies. Will Smith is the highest paid actor, period.
Yeah.
He has all the movies. And Gilbert was trying to come for Will Smith. Like, you better not.
So we're going to talk about our top 5 favorite Will Smith movies. And you mentioned an interesting one. This is a potential spoiler. Is 7 Pounds on your list?
No.
All right, so 7 Pounds. I gave outside of our top 5. I had the most overrated, the worst Will Smith movie, and the most underrated.
Okay.
I think that 7 Pounds is Will Smith's most underrated movie.
Underrated?
Underrated.
I will agree with that.
Like people forget about that movie, but that was a really good movie.
I just didn't like it because it made me feel some kind of way.
It did, but that's what makes good art,
that's a
right?
good movie.
Like that movie was really, really good. I'm gonna save what I think is Will Smith's worst movie because I think it's probably on your list.
Oh, so you're rude. Okay.
All right, so let's start with the top 5. What's number 5? We're going in reverse order.
Okay.
So we're gonna go our top 5 favorite Will Smith movies. 1 being our most favorite. Let's start with 5.
Okay.
What you
Since
got?
Gilbert didn't follow the rules last week, my number 5 is also 6 movies.
Bruh!
No, not 6. It's 1 movie and then a series. So my number 5, I'll do the series first. Is Men in Black. Men in Black is a classic. I love Men in Black. The first movie, fantastic. It's great. The only reason that it sits at 5 is because the other 2 were terrible. So, I mean, 2 was like, okay. 3, it's like, why does that exist? But Men in Black is great. Anybody that's ever watched Men in Black knows that it's a classic. It's great. It's classic. Will Smith. It's just a great movie.
I feel like I'm gonna break this thing. The noise of cricket?
Yes. Now, my true number 5 is iRobot. iRobot is great. Here's the thing. I feel like Will Smith gets hated on a lot, and I feel like that movie gets hated on, but that's a fantastic movie.
That list I gave was trash. I don't think
it was-
iRobot was on.
Yeah, you're terrible. I don't know where your sources are from. You're fake news, Gilbert.
I am fake.
You are literally baby Trump. So anyways, iRobot is fantastic, and I just love that concept of in any movie of AI, artificial intelligence, like taking over and starting to outlearn and outgrow its developers. So that movie is low-key terrifying, especially the age. Like, that movie came out in, like, 2004, especially the age that we live in now. It's like, I just love that concept. And it's just Will Smith doing what he does, and it was Shia LaBeouf before he went crazy. It's great. So, iRobot and Men in Black, my number 5.
Well, you gave 2. There's 2 completely different movies.
Because, like I said, last week, you broke the rules. So, I just wanted to break the rules real quick for this.
Okay, so that's your composite
My
number
composite
5. My number 5 is going to be a tough pick. If you disagree with me, you know how to come talk to me, right? Number 5 for me is Focus. Focus is a more recent Will Smith movie.
First off, I feel like we're the only 2 people in America that saw that movie.
I really enjoyed Focus.
Focus.
Like it wasn't very, very heavy, but I like movies that have twists. No spoiler. It's not a spoiler to say a movie has a twist, right? It does have a twist, and I thought that the plot was really good. I thought that Will Smith was good in it. And it wasn't a movie like 7 Pounds where it was emotionally taxing. It's not a Inception where I have to think a whole lot, right? But it was a good movie. It was well paced. It kind of lagged a little bit in the middle.
See,
but
that's my thing. I didn't think it was well paced. I feel like after a while I was like, I want you to end.
Yeah.
So, and anytime I feel,
but
the
the ending was worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the concept was stupid.
The concept was dumb.
It was stupid.
It's basically the Black Ocean's whatever.
With one person.
Yeah, with one person. It's the Ocean's one.
It's the Ocean's one. It's just an ocean.
Which
the Black Ocean.
The Black Ocean. It's the Black Sea.
It's the Black. Okay.
What's your number 4?
So you can come for me all you want. I don't care, Gilbert. Screw you. My number 4 is actually Wild Wild West. Okay. That is a fantastic movie.
Wild Wild West is the worst Will Smith movie ever.
You can say what you want to say. Wild Wild West is hilarious. And
we're going straight to the Wild Wild West.
That movie is hilarious, and you can say what you want. It's great. I can't even describe the plot of that movie because what even is it? It's fantastic. You've got Will Smith as like a cowboy out here. There's like a train with gadgets and stuff. You've got like huge monster villains. You got a villain that like doesn't have a body. That's just like a workout. I don't even know what Wild Wild West is. But for the nostalgic value, because I loved it as a child, and because it's still a hilarious movie, Wild Wild West is my number 4. You can say what you want. Everybody has seen that movie. Everybody loved it. And as soon as I said it, you were like, I love that movie. Ain't nobody said, man, that movie was terrible. Everybody has good memories of that movie.
So I told you guys that I also, in addition to my top 5, I have the most underrated, which was 7 Pounds, the most overrated, which I'll tell you shortly, and then the worst Will Smith movie, in my opinion. The worst Will Smith movie, in my opinion, is a tie between After Earth and Wild Wild West.
Well, that was a mistake, because After Earth definitely wins that.
Well, now that I think about it, what this list forced me to do is realize that Will Smith has a lot of good movies. Actually, this list was harder to make than I thought it would be. And I think at some point we should discuss if Will Smith, I'm not talking about black actors.
Just in general?
If Will Smith is a top 10 actor of all time, period. And I'm not talking about acting skill. I'm talking about people that were starring in movies that we consider good movies. Because Will Smith has some fantastic movies.
Yes, that's the thing. So my list, it's important to point out, at least for me, that my list is not Will Smith's best 5 movies. It's my top 5 favorite Will Smith movies.
Same here.
Because Wild Wild West is hilarious, but that's not one of his best movies. Like, I mean, mini spoiler alert: Ali is not on my list. He should have won an Oscar for that movie.
He should have won an Oscar for Ali. It's also not on my list.
You know what I mean? So he should have won an Oscar for that movie, but it's not on my list. So I think we definitely should at some point revisit like Will Smith and his acting career in general, because he's fantastic.
So my number 4 is Enemy of the State.
I forgot about that movie.
Enemy of the State is a really good movie.
I forgot about that movie.
It's really good. It came earlier in his career.
Oh my gosh.
Enemy of the State came out in 98, the year before the mistake that was Wild Wild West. Speaking of Wild Wild West.
Oh, do you see how good it is? You keep coming back. Speaking of
Wild Wild West, do you know what movie Will Smith passed on in order to do Wild Wild West? The Matrix. They approached Will Smith to have the role of Neo in The Matrix, and Will Smith said, nah, I gotta go record Wild Wild West.
Oh my gosh, let's just jump into this parallel universe for a second. So if Will Smith doesn't do Wild Wild West, and then he does The Matrix, does that mean that eventually Will Smith does John Wick?
Dang. No, because if Will Smith would have been in The Matrix, it wouldn't have worked.
The Matrix wouldn't have?
Not at that point in time in his career. I don't think he was a great actor in 97.
Nah, you're right.
So I just not that Keanu Reeves is a great actor.
Keanu Reeves
but Keanu Reeves is clueless, and that's what works for that aloofness was needed for Neo.
Yeah.
And I don't think Will Smith had it.
Because he's not acting. That's just
right. That's just how Keanu is.
Like, what?
It's also kind of the same for John Wick. Like, Keanu's not acting.
Keanu has never been a character ever. It's just him.
Him and Nicolas Cage are just...
I was about to say Nicolas Cage as well.
Anyway, so my number 4 is Enemy of the State. I thought that was a really, really good movie. What's your number 3?
I forgot about it. So my number 3 is a series again, and that is the classic Bad Boys.
Yeah. They're coming out with a new one.
Which again is a mistake. It's a money grab. I don't need it.
I saw on IMDb that they've actually got 2 new ones slated.
Why?
But it's like
for who?
It's Bad Boys 3 and then Bad Boys Forever. I think is how that's supposed to be, or something like that.
I need no Bad Boys. I'm full up on the Bad Boys.
I want to see Martin, bro. Anyway,
do you though?
I don't. Continue.
That's what
Number 3 is Bad Boys.
It's Bad Boys because Bad Boys is fantastic.
Yep.
It's just Bad Boys gives you what you want. It's action and dumb jokes and greatness.
So you put the series, right?
I put the entire series, even though.
Which one do you prefer? One or 2?
I prefer 2.
Same here.
Oh, okay, good.
I like 2 too.
However, random fact alert: Bad Boys 2 is the only movie that I have ever walked out of. Not because of me, but because of I went to see that with the parents. Were you there?
No.
We went with the parents, and I guess my parents forgot that there was a lot of cussing in Bad Boys, and they were like, "Oh, we don't want to do this," so we walked out of Bad Boys 2. And I said, "Oh, okay." But when I went and watched it, I said, "This is fantastic. I think that movie is funny. It's great. Yes, there's little allusions to the first movie, but I think Bad Boys 2 is great. Bad Boys 1 is alright, but 2 is fantastic."
The first one was an action movie, but it was more of like a crime drama thriller.
Yeah.
The second one was like, all right, we're gonna make a blockbuster action.
Yeah,
film.
it was a blockbuster.
This goes untalked about, but that car chase in Bad Boys 2, that's one of the best car chases in cinematic history.
Oh yeah, and also,
I am a hype beast.
Also, one of my favorite scenes ever is in a movie when the boy comes to take the daughter on the date, and Will and Martin approach him. However, I feel like we don't need to get into this, but I feel like the premise of Bad Boys 1 is the stupidest thing ever, with the witness and the confused identity of the two. I just always thought that was stupid. But yeah, Bad Boys 1 and 2, my number 3.
My number 3 is the movie that has the line, "Everyone that you and I have ever known is dead."
Oh my gosh.
Dead! Oh! Dead! I Am Legend.
There it is.
I Am Legend is my number 3. That is a fantastic movie.
It is amazing.
I love I Am Legend. It's a really good movie. I Am Legend was also prophetic because it was in the future and it had a movie billboard for Batman versus Superman in it, which is fantastic. But anyway, I Am Legend is a really, really good movie. I think that those movies like Castaway, I Am Legend not really like Castaway, but where it's like Will Smith. Well, I'm saying where you get to see him as an actor.
To act.
It's just him.
It's just you.
Like that scene where where the man, like no spoiler, but this movie's 10 years old, right? So when the mannequin moves and he's like, Fred. Like it's I'm geeking out just thinking about the movie. Like,
it's fine.
I Am Legend is a fantastic movie. That's my number 3.
It's fine. We don't have to stop talking about it because I Am Legend is my number 2. And actually, I wanted to randomly collect things when I was younger, so I decided I was going to collect movie stubs. The first movie stub that I collected was in 2004. It was I Am Legend. That movie is just great. And also, I don't want to spoilers, but I mean, it's so old. Can I just say it? Like, this is dumb. The scene with the dog, I have never cried more than in that scene. Like, Will, my dude, my feelings, you got me, all of them, all of the feelings. I Am Legend is fantastic.
It is. It's a really good
great.
movie.
And I also like that they're not zombies. That's, like, the monsters aren't zombies. Like, it's people.
Vampire-ish.
Yeah, it's whatever sickness or disease. I can't remember what it is, but I like that aspect of it. Because not to say that it's realistic, but in the event that there was some widespread outbreak where people acted this way, I love the premise. I love Will Smith acting at his finest, and that scene with the mannequin breaks my heart every time because, oh my gosh.
The ending was kind of trash.
The ending was hot trash. However, there is an alternate ending on like YouTube or something that's better.
What happens in the alternate ending?
You should watch it. I don't want to spoil it.
Okay, I'm going to go check out the alternate ending.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in 2 weeks. A fortnight, if you will.
A fortnight, if you must.
All right, so
You're number 2.
my number 2, we've already talked about at length, but is the Bad Boys series.
Woo!
I really, really enjoy the Bad Boys movies. I've already geeked out about the Bad Boys movies. My favorite of the Bad Boys movies is Bad Boy 2. Bad Boys 2. I enjoyed Bad Boys 1 as well. Bad Boys 1 came out in 1995. So I was really young when Bad Boys came out. I remember like watching it from behind the couch because like my parents didn't want me to see it because of the cursing, I guess. So I remember that. But anyway, that's random. But that movie was great. It was great, man. So that's my number 2. Right. Bad Boy series. What's your number 1?
Dun, 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 dun,
I am
dun,
afraid
dun,
that our
dun.
number 1 is going to be the same.
Our number 1 is absolutely not the same. And I know what your number 1 is, and your number 1 is actually my least favorite Will Smith movie.
I think we're about to reveal that my sister doesn't know me at all.
Oh, so if you put... So I think you changed it because
I didn't. When you called... So she actually called me and she was like, I'm gonna poo-poo on the doo-doo on your favorite Will Smith movie. And the one that she thinks is my favorite is not even in my top 5.
Okay, so then if that's not it, then we probably do have the same number 1. So whatever.
Go ahead.
My number 1 Will Smith movie is Hitch.
My number 1 favorite Will Smith movie is also Hitch.
Okay, yay!
We are EBS.
Hey, we're the black siblings that are educated and love Will Smith. All right,
We don't have a theme song.
You liked it. So Hitch is everything. I love that movie. I love it so much.
It's a good movie.
I loved Hitch.
Actually, it's not a good movie.
It's not a good movie.
It's an entertaining movie.
It's hilarious though,
Right.
but it is not a good movie.
Right.
I'm sure I drove my family crazy with this. I used to go to sleep to Hitch. Like I would play Hitch to fall asleep every night for a solid 1.5 years. So I watched that movie continuously to the point where Hitch is one of maybe 3 movies that I can quote probably word for word if I sat down and did it. Hitch is hilarious.
It's a really funny
movie.
movie.
It's Will Smith like at his prime, and it's just
The allergic reaction
the
scene.
allergic with the Benadryl.
If you've never seen Hitch for whatever reason,
What are you doing, first
you
off?
should go see Hitch.
And I remember there was a time where I thought I was the only person that liked Hitch until I was introduced to the world and realized that everybody loves Hitch. So if you haven't seen it, what are you actually doing? But also, let's not look over Kevin James in this movie is absolutely hilarious. Like I know it's about Will Smith, but that dance scene with Kevin James is iconic.
Yeah.
With the Q-tip, throw it away. I mean, it's hilarious top to bottom. When Will Smith moves his leg over that jet ski and knocks that girl.
She's about to recap
I'm sorry.
the entire
Okay,
movie.
I'm sorry.
But that is
I
our
just
number
can't.
1.
It's great.
The most overrated Will Smith movie to me is The Pursuit of Happiness.
You know what's funny? Never seen that movie.
You've never seen The Pursuit of Happiness?
It's overrated. I've never seen it. And here's why. Because it got to the point where I had no interest in seeing that movie. Like none. And then so I didn't go see it. And then when it came out, everybody was talking about it. I was like, yeah, I'll get to it. Never came around to it. And then it got to the point now where it's so hyped up. I'm like, I'm not gonna watch it.
So we both snubbed Independence Day.
So I thought Independence Day was for sure gonna be on Gilbert's list.
It's not on my list.
It's not on your list. I don't like that movie. Did you see the second one?
No.
Okay, because I don't care.
I don't like watching sequels that don't have the original person in it, which is interesting because I did enjoy Next Friday.
Is that the one with the year 2000 snacks?
Yes.
Okay, I also like Next Friday, but it shouldn't have existed. But
Yeah.
it's fine.
But anyway, so that's our top 5 Will Smith movies. We want to know.
Oh wait, I'm lying.
What?
The worst Will Smith movie is Suicide Squad.
Come on, bruh.
Suicide Squad is terrible.
It was bad.
No, After Earth is still garbage
After
trash.
Earth was bad.
After Earth is
Was it
garbage
just
trash.
me,
That's
or was
on fire.
Jalen Smith like unconscious from most of that movie?
Will Smith. Will Smith was unconscious.
Will Smith was on. Somebody. I just
Jalen-
remember somebody being asleep. The
It
whole
was
movie.
the Smith boys being terrible.
Why did
is
they
what
have
it was.
accents?
And why did he have? And then where was your accent from? Like, are you British? Are you African? Are you? Look, what are you?
Jehovah's Witness.
I was just confused. Is what I was. It
What's
was
a Jehovah's Witness accent?
Please go ahead and. Oh, hello.
Stop that. Anyway, so we want to know. There are lots, as Lindsay said. Will Smith has been in at least 42 movies.
At least.
So I'm sure your favorite list is different than ours. So you should add us at the EBS Podcast on Twitter or Educated Black Siblings everywhere else. You can definitely email us at educatedblacksibling@gmail.com. Lindsay, do we have anything else to cover today? I know we had a lot of topics. We were all over the place today.
We were all over the place today, but I think it was good information at your ears, coming to you from your black sibling peers.
We
Hey,
don't have a theme song.
You're gonna accept it because I'm doing one every week, and one of them will be the one.
Somebody follow us on Twitter and tell Lindsay that we don't need a theme song.
EBS on Twitter and Instagram.
And anyway, thank you guys so
And
much
on
for
YouTube.
listening to the podcast today.
Come on through. EBS.
We will be back in 2 weeks, so we are releasing
EBS.
bi-weekly for the time being.
Yes.
So we'll be back in a fortnight.
A fortnight, if you will.
I'm going to St. Lucia next week.
Hey.
So I'm gonna be on the beach.
On the beach.
But yeah, we really appreciate you guys listening. Please, we're working to grow this. This is random, right? But we're working to grow this podcast kind of like naturally. We're gonna go really, really slow. As we've said before, our goal is really just to have dope conversations. So we're already having conversations with each other, but we want to include you guys in those conversations. That's not just lip service when I say that. I would really, really like it if you would shoot us a message at blacksiblings@gmail.com or on a Twitter page that we've said already or on the Instagram page. If you like what you hear and you think that somebody else would like to be a part of these conversations, share the podcast.
Yes.
The YouTube link, I don't know how you're listening to it. It's got to either be SoundCloud or YouTube.
or SoundCloud, one of the two.
But share the link. And we want to engage with you guys. So like I said, if you disagree with something that we've said, or if there's a topic that you would like to hear us talk about on the podcast, let us know.
Share the love, wear a glove.
Oh, man.
We can cut that out, right?
No, we're not going to edit that out.
I'm sorry.
You just ended the podcast with a safe sex advertisement. Hey.
Be responsible.
Share the love. Wear a glove. We'll talk to y'all in 2 weeks. Holla.